Now at 11, retired General Michael Flynn pleading guilty to lying to the FBI and agreeing to cooperate with special counsel Robert Mueller. Mueller is investigating Russian interference in the U.S. election, whether anyone in the Trump campaign was involved, and any other crimes he may find along the way.
Flynn, the president's first national security advisor, worked on the campaign, and he could lead investigators right into the heart of the Trump team's contacts with Russia before and after the election.
Michael Flynn arriving at the federal courthouse Friday to plead guilty to lying to the FBI. According to court papers, Flynn lied to FBI agents about the details of 2 phone calls he had with then Russian ambassador to the U.S. Sergey Kislyak during the presidential transition. CBS News has learned Flynn was directed to make the first call by President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, described in court papers as a very senior member of the transition team. A second call featured a request for Russia to not retaliate for sanctions imposed by then-President Obama as punishment for Russia interfering in the election. Flynn telling the ambassador that the Trump team did not want Russia to, quote, escalate the situation. After that call, Russian President Vladimir Putin said he would not retaliate for the sanctions, and President-elect Trump tweeted Putin was very smart.
Lock her up!
Flynn was a loyal Trump surrogate during the campaign, but he was fired as the president's national security advisor after just 24 days when it became clear that he had lied to Vice President Pence about his communications with Kislyak. Flynn's plea deal with the special counsel's office requires him to cooperate with the investigation, but the president's lawyer says he's not concerned, saying nothing about the guilty plea or the charge implicates anyone other than Mr. Flynn. In a statement, Flynn said his actions were wrong and his guilty plea was in the best interests of my family and of our country.
Joining us now is Guy Lewis, a former U.S. attorney who has worked with special counsel Robert Mueller. I'm glad you're here. Thanks very much. The president's attorney says that there is nothing at all in the paperwork from the court today that implicates the president. Is he right?
Well, in part. Certainly, if I'm Trump's lawyer, I'm saying that, look, Flynn was fired from his job for exactly the same conduct that he's admitted to in his plea. And secondly, I'm also saying, look what he's pled guilty to perjury, to lying under oath. How reliable of a witness can he now be going forward?
A minor charge in the grand scheme of things, lying to the FBI in terms of what he could have potentially been facing. You've said that you don't think that he'll actually spend any time in jail for this charge based on the plea. What's the end game here then? Why do you think Mueller decided to go ahead with that charge in particular?
Well, that's a great question, and truly, in Tennessee, we would call this buying a pig and a poke. They have sat down, Lauren, they have sat down with General Flynn, and they have asked him question after question. They know exactly what they're buying as a result of getting him this substantially reduced charge. So they know what he's going to say. They know who he's going to implicate. They know what his testimony is right now. And I'm telling you, it was substantial. He's implicating, my bet is he's implicating higher-ups to get this kind of sweetheart deal, because that's what it is.
So what's next?
Well, I think they'll wind up continuing their grand jury investigation. I think you'll see some additional charges come out on some of the collateral people. We know that Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of the president, was recently interviewed. Who knows whether he told the truth or not? I think we'll find out very, very soon.
We talked about the president, and you said that they're trying to spin it in such a way to say, well, this is not something we didn't know. We knew that there was some lying that had happened. But if you're the president and his team tonight, are you getting a good night's sleep?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I'm worrying a little bit about what's coming down the pike. This special counsel, Robert Mueller, he's moving at breakneck speed. I mean, he's gone from indictment to indictment to indictment, and he's got a great team of prosecutors, many of whom I know.
Guy Lewis, thanks so much for joining us all day today to help us sort through all of these difficult and complicated legal details. It's been great to have your insight. Thank you.
Glad to be here.